blob, maybe a depression developing here by the middle of this week.
We'll look at how drought is impacting the country from coast to coast.
While we're slightly ahead for the month, when it comes to official rain totals for the year, Seattle is more than 7 inches behind.
Why the Northern Lights have been putting on such a spectacular show recently.
We know that there was a coronal hole on the sun. All auroras start at the sun, so it's what the sun is doing, shooting out solar particles towards us.
And we know it's fall foliage season, but when can we expect bug and mosquito season to end?
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Well, good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Well, it continues to be a busy several weeks for the tropics. There's a system in the Atlantic that has a pretty good chance of development in the coming days. Meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking that system for us this morning.
We've got this wave out in the middle of the ocean right now with a 50 to 70% chance of development through the next 2 to 7 days. This is likely going to form somewhere in this red blob, maybe a depression developing here by the middle of this week. We'll put some computer models on it for you. Here we go. So this is Invest 95L. Most of these models do have this likely curving out to sea. That will probably happen. Not really concerned with this impacting us in Florida. If that changes, of course, I will let you know. But we might at least see a depression developing here. Maybe by the middle of this week, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. If it gets named, next name on our list is Jerry.
Well, in Maine, drought worries persist. Conditions across much of the state are considered severe, and things have gotten so bad that hundreds of wells have dried up across the state. Brad Rogers has more.
We was very dry.
John Johnson couldn't believe it when the stream behind his home dried up this summer, but he says last week's rain was enough to get water flowing again.
The stream out back has been dry all summer, and it's got water now.
He worried for 3 months about his 25-foot deep well running dry.
Oh, I was before it rained, yeah. We was definitely, not flushing the one you had to, you know what I'm talking about. But now we don't, there's no problem now.
Members of the Maine Drought Task Force updated us on current drought conditions and the growing number of dry wells.
Since our last meeting, it has continued to go downhill as far as the drought conditions go.
The National Weather Service says last week's rain helped, particularly in hard-hit Oxford County.
Soaking rainfall event, exactly what we needed at the time we needed it. We're not in great shape, but we could be far worse had we not received this rainfall event.
The Maine Department of Agriculture says the drought hurt farms across the state and will continue to cost them this winter.
We're expecting that this is going to have significant impact on hay crops with long-term costs for dairy and other livestock operations.
The head of the Maine Emergency Management Agency told us a rainmaker is coming next week that he hopes will greatly ease drought conditions. John Johnson says he still has 8 feet of water in his 25-foot well, but would feel better if it was full.
I know many people that are dry, yeah. They're carrying water. No fun.
Well, it's not just the Northeast dealing with drought. It's also an issue in Washington state and is causing major concerns about wildfires. Theron Zahn has that story.
October typically starts the rainy season in western Washington, but we will be hard-pressed to find any soaking rain soon. While we're slightly ahead for the month, when it comes to official rain totals for the year, Seattle is more than 7 inches behind. That's a lot of catching up to do. The lack of rain is definitely seen in the current NOAA drought map for our state. Much of western Washington is in a severe drought, with the North Cascades experiencing extreme drought conditions. The current fire danger map from the Washington State Department of Natural Resources shows most of the Cascades with high fire danger in yellow, and the north central Cascades with very high fire danger, shown in orange. But what comes next when it comes to rain for our area? According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center, there is a 33 to 40% chance of above normal precipitation starting in the middle of the month. In the same time period, government forecasters expect temperatures to be near normal for western Washington. Wetter, seasonable weather would be just what we need to start making up for all the rain we didn't get earlier in the year.
Well, the Northern Lights have been putting on quite a show recently, especially in the northern U.S. But what's been causing this increase? Mary Jane Glenn has the answer.
For aurora light chasers like Patrick Gruba, lately he's been on a sleepless quest.
For the last 72 hours, I've been up. I've maybe had 7 hours of sleep. We've had an unprecedented 3 days of great displays of aurora for Michigan.
For some, these sightings come down to just luck.
For this particular display, we're not really sure what's generating it. We know that there was a coronal hole on the sun. All auroras start at the sun, so it's what the sun is doing, shooting out solar particles towards us.
Gruba does know that we are officially in aurora lights season, and it's expecting to be a big one this year.
Solar max, the sun has a cycle, 11-year cycle of max, and then it's actually 22 because you got 11 years of going up to max and then 11 years to go to solar min. And we're on the downhill slide of solar max. It was last year. But historically, the downhill slide is where you get a lot bigger storms.
For those of you who may want to try to catch the lights, Gruba suggests that you either start right at sunset or around 2 to 3 a.m.
What you want to do is you want to find a clear, dark sky that has a north-facing view and a clear view of the horizon. The darker the sky, the better your chances of seeing it. The farther north you go, the better you see it.
Well, another cool sight that you can see in the sky tonight, it's October's full moon. Meteorologist Nathan Shutt explains how to get the best views and why it's known as a harvest moon.
Don't miss October's full moon, known as the harvest moon. Its name coming from the full moon that occurs near the autumnal equinox. And this time of the year, the farmers are typically harvesting their last crop before the weather does turn colder. Now, what makes this full moon special is it's actually the first supermoon of this year. And what's a supermoon? Well, it's a full moon that appears a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter because the full moon is occurring at the moon's perigee. That's the point the moon is closest to the Earth on its orbit. Again, catch that harvest full super moon coming up this Monday. Peak illumination occurs at 11:49 p.m.
Well, it's been nearly 50 years since the Edmund Fitzgerald went down in a storm on Lake Superior, taking all 29 crew members with it. But the massive cargo ship was supposed to be able to weather any storm, leaving it sinking somewhat of a mystery to this day. Mark Leland has more.
Curators at the Door County Maritime Museum this week unveiled their latest exhibit showcasing the Edmund Fitzgerald, which after all these years continues to draw interest far and wide.
I really hope that they take away exactly how powerful the Great Lakes actually are. I think a lot of people tend to think, oh, it's a lake, it's just a lake, it's just a lake. It's not just a lake. It is an inland ocean. It is very powerful.
The boat, by Great Lakes standard, had a fairly short life. She was only 17 years old when she went down.
Chris Winters of Milwaukee has devoted his life to documenting shipwrecks in pictures and was invited by the museum to share his story, kicking off the new exhibit. He says the Fitzgerald, even from its launch, drew interest.
In that short career, she was one of the boat watchers' favorites, and she was, of course, the largest ship launched on the Great Lakes in 1958 when she came out.
Adding to the intrigue of the ship is the fact that a hit song helped to give it new life in the 70s. The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot hauntingly details its fateful last voyage. Lightfoot communicated with family members of the crew for years before his passing 2 years ago.
We know the weather was terrible. We know that the ship sank, but exactly how did it go down? There's a few theories floating around, and whenever something is not closed, it is not a closed case, it's kind of open, it's going to draw a lot more fascination.
And it's that mystery that continues to keep the legacy of the Edmund Fitzgerald and its crew in the hearts and minds of many.
Well, for all of the latest weather news and video, be sure to check us out on social media. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. Coming up on the National Weather Desk, fall wildfire season is here. We'll show you what areas are most at risk and steps you can take to protect your home. And we'll tell you how elevation can impact fall foliage.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. We head through the day on Monday. A beautiful, spectacular Monday ahead all across the Northeast. Lots of sunshine. Very warm temperatures for this time of the year. You can see the numbers running in the 80s. Eventually, though, we are going to see clouds start to build. A cold front will pass through. We are going to run the risk for some rain as we head through later Tuesday into the day on Wednesday. High temperatures for Monday are going to be very warm again, topping out in the low to mid 80s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. It's going to be dry as we move through your Monday. Not seeing any rainfall around. Next chance of rain is going to be with an approaching cold front getting towards the middle of the week, likely arriving on Wednesday. But until then, it's looking pretty warm as temperatures will likely reach the upper 70s, low 80s across the region, except for the mountains on Monday afternoon. On Tuesday, still quite warm, still in the upper 70s, low 80s. We'll see those temperatures cooling as the rain arrives on Wednesday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. 80 degrees Nashville, 84 Raleigh, 78 in Atlanta, looking at 83 in Mobile, 88 in Tampa, 86 in West Palm. It looks like we are going to continue to see spotty showers across parts of the south. That coastal low will continue to move up the Mississippi Delta. Memphis getting showers up through Atlanta as well as Biloxi. The panhandle of Florida getting spotty showers. We'll get a little sunshine along the I-95 corridor through the Carolinas, but it looks like definitely keep an umbrella nearby.
I'm Jack Gerfin, Chief Meteorologist at Fox 25 in Oklahoma City, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, it's fall wildfire season, and officials are warning people to be cautious. Ohio meteorologist Sarah Converse looks at steps that you can take to help prevent fall fires.
While last week's rain was a welcome sight, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and the state fire marshal are still concerned about fire danger this season.
Wildfire prevention and community safety is everybody's responsibility.
With another dry stretch shaping up this week, the Division of Forestry's Aaron Kloss says this could elevate the fire risk.
The main threats of wildfires here in Ohio in the fall are low relative humidity and higher temperatures like we have right now, and the lack of precipitation. Combine that with the leaves coming down and vegetation going dormant and dry and dying off with the season, that creates a situation where we have elevated risk of wildfires here in Ohio.
One of the main causes of fires in Ohio is careless burning of yard waste or trash, which is why state law bans open burning during the fall in unincorporated areas.
It's been so dry that that's just not a great idea to do right now. There's some other options such as composting or waiting until wintertime to burn your debris if you have any of that stuff laying around.
Aaron says you can prevent accidental fires by being informed and proactive.
They need to make sure that, they check the weather, try to avoid that on warm, dry, windy days. If they do have those fires, make sure they have tools on hand to put that out and have some water on hand, and definitely keep their phone handy, because if that fire does escape their control, then they need to call 911 or their local emergency responders as quick as possible, and make sure they get to a safe location while that response is taking place.
Well, we talked earlier about how Maine is dealing with drought issues, but how is it impacting fall foliage in a state popular with leaf peepers? Meteorologist Ryan Munn takes a look.
The latest fall foliage report, courtesy of explorefall.com, is a promising one across the north and mountains. We have officially hit peak colors across the north, especially in the higher terrain. As a matter of fact, we're actually past peak in the Mount Washington region. As you head further south through the foothills and areas north of Lewiston and Augusta, we have moderate to high color, and while southern and coastal Maine show low color on this map, you could make the case for moderate colors in these areas as well. Now here's a look at when we typically see peak colors across the state. Considering we are at peak across the north, we are certainly ahead of schedule. Same goes for many areas inland. Here's a shot from Steve Yanko of Sugarloaf recently, and you can see the bright colors. Lots of reds, oranges, yellows. Almost looks like a bowl of Fruity Pebbles if you ask me. And Catherine McMahon sent this one in from North Conway, New Hampshire, with some vibrant oranges and reds on this tree. And from Appleton, Maine, Rick Barber sent this one in from the mid-coast, and you can see the tree is changing colors. But I wanted to show this because you can also see the early leaf droppings in the photo as well. One of the biggest factors that affects the leaves during the fall is a drought. And there's a lot of damaged leaves on these trees, so hopefully we can see the winds stay on the calmer side over the next couple weeks.
Well, in North Carolina, the leaves are changing as well from the higher elevations down. Meteorologist Julia Haley tells us why it happens that way.
As we turn a new leaf into the fall season, you may be wondering, why don't the leaves all change at once? The answer is elevation. At the highest peaks, like Mount Mitchell or Grandfather Mountain, cooler air arrives first. That cooler air signals to the trees to get ready for winter. So color, such as yellows, reds, and oranges, appear at higher elevations first. Meanwhile, in the valleys and lower spots like Asheville, they stay warmer, so their leaves turn weeks later. Think of it as a wave of color rolling downhill, peaking at 6,000 feet in early October, mid-elevations by mid-month, and the lower valleys by late October into November. And according to biology professor Howard Neufeld, that stretch of elevation makes North Carolina one of the longest fall color seasons in the country.
We go from the highest peak in the east at Mount Mitchell to the coast. That's 6,684 feet elevational change. So you can start seeing fall color in the late September. And if you just keep following it through the state to lower elevations, you can see it at Thanksgiving on the coast. And so that's 4, 7, 8 weeks long. Whereas in New England, it's about 2 weeks and then it's over.
So grab your camera and drive the Blue Ridge because the parade of color is just getting started. There's plenty to see as more colors roll down the mountains this fall.
Well, in South Carolina's low country, oysters are a beloved part of the ecosystem. Tess Spencer caught up with a local oyster farmer whose aim is to balance tradition, customer demand, and sustainability.
The crew at Charleston Oyster Farm is sorting through hundreds of oysters.
Full steam ahead.
Shellfish harvesting season is underway.
Mainly, the biggest thing for us is summer harvest regulations are over.
That makes the work easier. And if you're a fan of oyster roasts,
the wild oysters are available for harvest, so we can start harvesting bushels again.
Charleston Oyster Farm actually sells their farmed oysters year-round, while the wild bushels are available in season only.
One of the reasons we got into the oyster farming is to get the take pressure off the wild oysters and to be able to continue the tradition of harvesting wild oysters well into the future.
And the business aims to keep the local market for oysters alive, whether it be for a roast or dinner at a variety of low-country restaurants. 95% of their sales are to the eateries, fresh from the farm.
It wouldn't be possible to have a product that they could use without mariculture, without oyster farms in South Carolina. All the restaurants would have to be importing their singles from out of state.
According to the company's owner, there's only a handful of oyster farms statewide. But regardless of your taste,
we're all about sustainability and keeping things local and water quality and just giving back.
Well, it might be the start of oyster season, but this time of year, people are looking forward to the end of bug season. Meteorologist Katie Morgan posted on TikTok about when you can expect the mosquitoes to stop showing up where you live.
I am tired of those mosquitoes. So, when is mosquito season where you live? Here's a map of our mosquito season, when it starts and when it typically ends. Of course, it can vary a little bit, especially dependent on short-term weather patterns. But typically, of course, we're looking at a near year-round season in our southern states with a more shorter season the farther north you go. Mosquitoes love temperatures 70 degrees or hotter. So for those southern states, your season's going to last a lot longer. On the flip side, they become less active when temperatures slip below 50 degrees. So once temperatures start slipping below 50 degrees, that's when the mosquitoes will start to go hibernate. Unfortunately, the next couple of weeks look to stay above average for a lot of the country, which means the mosquitoes are going to be hanging on a little longer into the beginning of October. So hang on a little bit longer. We should have our victory within the next month.
Well, time now for a short break, but first we take to the skies over Florida's Sea Highway to the Keys.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Michael. Cool air is moving its way back in. Highs in the 60s across the northern plains. Now, this is going to continue moving its way into the Ohio Valley as we head into the day tomorrow. But a lot of sun and 60s across the plains as we continue on into your Wednesday here. A lot of sunshine across most of the Midwest with temperatures pretty comfortable. 60s and 70s all across the Midwest.
Well, a good Monday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Our forecast today across the region, starting off with a little bit of rain, portions of Louisiana and Arkansas. That's an area of low pressure that's moving north with a little bit of a rain chance. Temperatures in the 70s in Little Rock, otherwise 80s and 90s. We head into your Tuesday forecast, and that little system moves away. A slight chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. High temperatures in the 80s and 90s for most of the region, 70s in Oklahoma City.
Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. Upper level ridging will allow for warming and drying conditions across the west coast. Meanwhile, the lack of cloud cover, that's going to allow for some freeze warnings as well as frost advisories to get triggered through portions of the Rocky Mountain West. We're going to be seeing those highs climbing to 80 degrees in San Francisco, the 70s from Seattle through Portland, also seeing the 80-degree mark, and Albuquerque, where the balloon fiesta is going on. That's the scene from here.
I'm Chad Samuel, meteorologist at KFDM in Fox 4 in Beaumont, Texas, and you are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, here's a gorgeous example of mountain valley fog as seen in Southwest Virginia. Meteorologist Dave Dirks explains how it forms.
Fog can be dangerous on the roads, but beautiful to view from above. Check out this viewer pic of some mountain valley fog taken at the annual Hawk Watch at the Mendota Fire Tower in Southwest Virginia. Now, valley fog often develops on clear, calm nights as a stable layer of air develops near the surface. The air at the higher elevations cools as the warmer air radiates into the atmosphere. The cooler air is more dense and heavier and sinks into the valley below. As the air in the valley continues to cool, it reaches its dew point, no longer can hold all its water vapor, and condenses into tiny water droplets, forming the fog. The presence of moisture from lakes, rivers, and damp soil can enhance its development, a process that is common this time of year and makes for some great photo ops.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Well, thank you so much for starting your week with us. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Make it a great day, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.